From the start of preseason, one question has never left the conversation in Buffalo: should the Bills go after Jabrill Peppers to solidify the safety room? It's been a lingering concern, and after Week 1, the questions feel even louder. Let's be honest, Buffalo's win over Baltimore wasn't flawless. The scoreboard might have favored the Bills, but defensively, the depth at safety stood out as a real issue. The coaching staff expected Taylor Rapp to be the steady veteran presence in this group, but instead, his performance left a lot to be desired. Before we dive deeper into this situation, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and don't forget to press the bell icon so you never miss the latest Bills updates. Now, let's get back to the news. Against the Ravens, Rapp's struggles were on full display. On one particular run, Derrick Henry broke loose, and the breakdown wasn't about missed tackles, it was about positioning. Rapp's body was turned the wrong way, completely misreading the direction of the play. Meanwhile, Cole Bishop already had the opposite side locked down, yet Rapp was drifting out of position, leaving a gaping lane open. For a defense that's supposed to be disciplined, that's a glaring red flag. The struggles didn't stop at one play. After Derrick Henry had already broken past Taylor Rapp, the angle Rapp took was disastrous. Instead of cutting him off, he gave Henry an open lane to the end zone, and the result was a backbreaking 40-yard touchdown. One bad rep can be forgiven, but this wasn't an isolated moment. Later, Rapp was slow to provide help over the top on DeAndre Hopkins' touchdown. The cornerback in coverage wasn't completely beaten, but without that safety support, Hopkins had enough room to make the grab. With better anticipation, that ball could have been broken up, or at least contested more strongly. Instead, Buffalo's secondary paid the price. The numbers tell the story. Rapp finished Week 1 as the lowest-graded Bills defender, a painful 29.6 mark that highlights just how rough his outing was. But it wasn't just him. Cole Bishop, the young safety, had his own problems. He got shoved aside by Derrick Henry in a one-on-one situation, a moment that perfectly illustrated how shaky this group looked against elite competition. And here's the reality: this safety duo doesn't inspire championship confidence. If Buffalo truly wants to be in the Super Bowl conversation, something has to change. Which brings us to the name everyone keeps mentioning, Jabrill Peppers. Still sitting in free agency, Peppers is a proven defender who excelled in coverage last season. With no clear reason why he was released, it feels like the Bills have a golden opportunity. Waiting too long could mean another team scoops him up, but for now, the window is open. Last season, Jabrill Peppers wasn't just steady, he was impactful. His coverage grade topped 80, and in run defense, he graded out around 74. Those are numbers Buffalo's current safety duo would struggle to reach even on their best days. What makes Peppers so valuable isn't just the stats, it's the versatility. He can line up in the box, drop deep in coverage, or even attack along the line of scrimmage. Wherever you place him, he brings energy and playmaking ability. Yes, he's 29 and heading into his 9th NFL season. That might raise questions about longevity, especially after being limited to 6 games last year due to injury. But Peppers has made it clear that he's confident in what he still brings. He even said it himself: after 9 years in the league, with 7 head coaches and 6 defensive coordinators, there isn't a system he can't adapt to. That kind of experience and confidence matters on a defense searching for stability. For Buffalo, the equation is simple: if this team is serious about making a deep playoff run, improving the safety room is a must. Peppers represents a proven, available solution. The challenge, of course, is financial. The Bills don't have much cap space to work with, but sometimes opportunities like this can't be passed up. If Buffalo wants to maximize its Super Bowl window, a move for Jabrill Peppers might be the one that pushes this defense over the top. Buffalo's financial situation makes this conversation even more complicated. The team already had to restructure Dion Dawkins' contract just to squeeze under the salary cap before the season began. In fact, they were one of the few, if not the only, franchises starting the year over the limit. And even after those moves, more restructures and extensions are still on the horizon simply to keep the front office operating smoothly through 2025. That's the challenge with Jabrill Peppers. He's not going to come cheap. Based on last year's production, he has every right to demand a respectable contract. The question is whether the Bills can make the numbers work without jeopardizing flexibility for the rest of the season. Right now, Buffalo's safety tandem doesn't strike fear into anyone. Adding Peppers would immediately elevate the group, even if it meant reducing the role of someone like Damar Hamlin. His presence alone could stabilize the back end and give Sean McDermott more confidence to be aggressive with his defensive calls. So, the real decision falls on Brandon Beane and the front office. Do you take the financial hit now to strengthen a glaring weakness, or roll the dice on a group that hasn't proven it can hold up against elite offenses? For a team with championship aspirations, the margin for error is razor thin. While the conversation around Buffalo has centered on the safety position, one area that deserves equal attention is the success of the team's recent draft picks. Brandon Beane pulled off what can only be described as another draft day steal. In the later rounds, Buffalo secured tight end Jackson Haw at pick 173 and cornerback Dorian Strong at pick 177. On paper, these looked like depth selections. On the field, both players proved they're much more than that. Haw, originally labeled as a blocking tight end, wasted no time showing he can contribute as a receiver. In Week 1, with the Bills battling to complete their comeback, Josh Allen fired a 29-yard strike down the field. Despite tight coverage, Haw secured the ball after a brief bobble and delivered one of the game's most important catches. For a rookie to step up in such a critical moment, it's the kind of play that immediately raises expectations. Meanwhile, Dorian Strong, thrust into the lineup with Tre'Davious White out, didn't play like a late-round flyer. He held his own against top competition, showing both physicality and composure. His presence adds much-needed depth and potential stability to a secondary that has been under the microscope since the offseason. These aren't just rookies filling roster spots, they're already proving they can help Buffalo win now. In a season where every snap matters, the impact of Haw and Strong could become one of the Bills' biggest storylines. If Jackson Haw develops into a steady receiving option, it could be a game-changer for Buffalo. He doesn't need to be a 1,000-yard receiver, or even a 500-yard one. But if he can chip in 300 to 400 yards across the season, that kind of contribution would be massive for a roster already strapped financially. His versatility makes him even more valuable, with a 73.9 run-blocking grade in just 13 snaps against one of the league's most physical defensive fronts. That's impressive for any rookie, and the fact that he added a crucial red zone reception to set up a Josh Allen touchdown shows he's more than just a blocking piece. Then there's Dorian Strong, whose debut was as close to flawless as any late-round rookie could hope for. With Tre'Davious White sidelined yet again, the cornerback depth was a serious concern. But Strong answered the call. Playing every single defensive snap in Week 1, he allowed 0 receptions according to Next Gen Stats, a remarkable feat for a 6th-round pick thrust into the spotlight. His only blemish came on a questionable holding penalty, which many saw as a borderline call. Strong's confidence after the game said it all. "I felt like I had a good game." He certainly did. While there was one defensive breakdown that resulted in a big Zay Flowers catch, the miscommunication wasn't squarely on him. For a rookie to step in and play mistake-free football for nearly the entire night, it's the type of performance that makes Brandon Beane's draft class look like outright theft. Buffalo fans worried about the cornerback room may have just witnessed the emergence of a long-term answer. Strong's combination of poise, coverage discipline, and toughness makes him a player to watch as the season unfolds. The breakdown on that Zay Flowers play may have technically fallen on Dorian Strong, but even if it was his assignment, it's the type of mistake that can be ironed out quickly with more reps. What matters more is how poised he looked for the rest of the night, which adds real optimism to the Bills' cornerback depth chart. Right now, Buffalo is waiting for Maxwell Harrison to return from injured reserve and hoping Tre'Davious White is ready as soon as Week 2. But Strong's performance gives this group flexibility. If White isn't at full strength coming off injury, the Bills don't have to rush him into a heavy workload. Strong showed he's ready to handle boundary responsibilities, and against a Jets offense that, despite a big Week 1 output, still doesn't strike fear the way Baltimore does, giving Strong another start could make sense. The value of depth can't be overstated. In the past 2 seasons, Buffalo's secondary has been stretched thin due to injuries, forcing young or inexperienced players into high-pressure roles. This year, though, Strong looks like he can be part of the solution instead of just a temporary patch. That kind of emergence from a sixth-round pick is the definition of a roster upgrade. If he continues to perform with the same confidence he showed against Baltimore, the Bills may suddenly find themselves with one of the more quietly solid cornerback rotations in the AFC. Strong doesn't just deserve snaps, he's earned the right to be trusted in meaningful situations. That Week 1 win still feels unreal. For some, it's been labeled lucky. The debate has already started. Would Buffalo have even been in position to pull it off without that forced fumble on Derrick Henry? But here's the truth, the what-ifs don't matter. Wins aren't handed out for hypotheticals, and the Bills earned theirs on the field. In fact, that victory was a perfect reflection of who the Buffalo Bills are under Josh Allen. This team is never going to be flawless. The roster will have holes, particularly on defense. They'll give up yards, they'll surrender points, and there will be stretches where the game feels out of control. But with Allen leading the offense, Buffalo always has the firepower to erase mistakes and tilt the outcome back in their favor. It's chaotic, it's messy, and it's often nerve-wracking, but it works. The Bills win games in ways that make your heart race and your head spin, and that's part of what defines them. This team thrives in the unpredictable, and as long as Allen is at the helm, Buffalo will continue to find ways to come out on top, no matter how wild the path to the finish line may be.